This is wisdom, and this comes from the complete Apocrypha, published by Covenant Press of the Covenant Christian Coalition. Chapter 1. Love righteousness. All you who are judges of the earth, think of the Lord with a good mind. Seek him in singleness of heart, because he is found by those who don't tempt him and is manifested to those who trust him. For crooked thoughts separate from God. His power convicts when it is tested and exposes the foolish. Because wisdom will not enter into a soul that devises evil, nor dwell in a body that is enslaved by sin. For a Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit, and will depart from thoughts that are without understanding, and will be ashamed when unrighteousness has come in. For wisdom is a spirit who loves man, and she will not hold a blasphemer guiltless for his lips, because God is a witness of his inmost self, and is a true overseer of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue. Because the Spirit of the Lord has filled the world, and that which holds all things together knows what is said. Therefore no one who utters unrighteous things will be unseen, neither will justice, when it convicts, pass him by. For in his counsels the ungodly will be searched out, and the sound of his words will come to the Lord to bring his lawless deeds to conviction. Because a jealous ear listens to all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hidden. Beware then of unprofitable murmuring, and keep your tongue from slander, because no secret utterance will go on its way void, and a lying mouth destroys a soul. Don't count death in the air of your life, and don't draw destruction upon yourselves by the works of your hands, because God didn't make death, neither does he delight when the living perish. For he created all things that they might have being. The generative powers of the world are wholesome, and there is no poison of destruction in them, nor has Hades royal dominion upon earth. For righteousness is immortal, but ungodly men by their hands and their words summon death. Deeming him a friend, they pined away. They made a covenant with him, because they are worthy to belong with him. For they said within themselves, with unsound reasoning, our life is short and sorrowful. There is no healing when a man comes to his end, and no one who has ever known who was released from Hades. Because we were born by mere chance, and hereafter we will be as though we have never been. Because the breath in our nostrils is smoke, and reason is a spark kindled by the beating of our heart, which being extinguished, the body will be turned into ashes, and the spirit will be dispersed as thin air. Our name will be forgotten in time. No one will remember our works. Our life will pass away as the traces of a cloud, and will be scattered as is a mist, when it is chased by the rays of the sun and overcome by its heat. For our allotted time is the passing of a shadow, and our end doesn't retreat, because it is securely sealed, and no one turns it back. Come therefore, and let's enjoy the good things that exist. Let's use the creation earnestly, as in our youth. Let's fill ourselves with costly wine and perfumes, and let no spring flower pass us by. Let's crown ourselves with rosebuds before they wither. Let none of us go without his share in our proud revelry. Let's leave signs of myrrh everywhere, because this is our portion, and this is our lot. Let's oppress the righteous poor. Let's not spare the widow, nor reverence the gray hair of the old man. But let our strength be a law of righteousness, for that which is weak is proven useless. But let's lie in wait for the righteous man, because he annoys us, is contrary to our works, reproaches us with sins against the law, and charges us with sins against our training. He professes to have knowledge of God and calls himself a child of the Lord. He became to us a reproof of our thoughts. He is grievous to us, even to look at, because his life is unlike other men's, and his paths are strange. We were regarded by him as worthless metal, and he abstains from our ways as from uncleanliness. He calls the latter end of the righteous happy. He boasts that God is his Father. Let's see if his words are true. Let's test what will happen at the end of his life. For if the righteous man is God's son, he will uphold him, and he will deliver him out of the hands of his adversaries. Let's test him with outrage and torture, that we may find out how gentle he is and test his patience. Let's condemn him to a shameful death, for he will be overseen according to his words. So they reasoned, and they were led astray, for their wickedness blinded them, and they didn't know the mysteries of God. Neither did they hope for wages of holiness, nor did they discern that there is a prize for blameless souls. Because God created man for incorruption and made him an image of his own everlastingness. But death entered into the world by the envy of the devil, and those who belong to him experience it. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and no torment will touch them. In the eyes of the foolish, they seem to have died. Their departure was considered affliction, and their travel away from us ruin. But they are in peace, for even in the sight of men they were punished. Their hope is full of immortality. Having borne a little chastening, they will receive great good, because God tested them and found them worthy of himself. He tested them like gold in the furnace, and he accepted them as a whole burnt offering. In the time of their visitation, they will shine. They will run back and out like sparks among stubble. They will judge nations and have dominion over peoples. The Lord will reign over them forever. Those who trust in him will understand truth. The faithful will live with him in love, because grace and mercy are with his chosen ones. But the ungodly will be punished, even as they reasoned. Those who neglected righteousness and revolted from the Lord, for he despises wisdom, and discipline is miserable. Their hope is void, and their toils unprofitable. Their works are useless. Their wives are foolish, and their children are wicked. Their descendants are cursed, because the barren woman who is undefiled is happy, she who has not conceived in transgression. She will have fruit in the visitation of souls. So is the eunuch, which has done no lawless deeds with his hands, nor imagined wicked things against the Lord. For a precious gift will be given to him, for his faithfulness, a special favor, and a delightful inheritance in the Lord's sanctuary. For good labors have fruit of great renown. The root of understanding can't fail. But children of adulterers will not come to maturity. The seed of the unlawful bed will vanish away. For if they live long, they will not be esteemed, and in the end, their old age will be without honor. If they die quickly, they will have no hope, nor consolation in the day of decision, for the end of the unrighteous generation is always grievous. It is better to be childless with virtue, for immorality is the memory of virtue, because it is recognized both before God and before men. When it is present, people imitate it. They long after it when it is departed. Throughout all time it marches, crowned in triumph, victorious in the competition for the prizes that are undefiled. But the multiplying brood of the ungodly will be of no profit, and their illegitimate offshoots won't take root, nor will they establish a sure hold. For even if they grow branches and flourish for a season, standing unsure, they will be shaken by the wind. They will be uprooted by the violence of winds. Their branches will be broken off before they come to maturity. Their fruit will be useless, never ripe to eat, and fit for nothing. For unlawfully conceived children are witnesses of wickedness against parents when they are investigated. But a righteous man, even if he dies before his time, will be at rest. For an honorable old age is not that which stands in length of time, nor in its measure given by number of years. But understanding is gray hair to men, and an unspotted life ripe old age. Being found well-pleasing to God, he was loved. While living among sinners, he was transported. He was caught away lest evil should change his understanding, or guile deceive his soul. For the witchcraft of worthlessness obscures the things which are good, and the whirl of desire perverts an innocent mind. Being made perfect quickly, he filled a long time, for his soul was pleasing to the Lord. Therefore he hurried out of the midst of wickedness. But as for people seeing and not understanding, not considering this, that grace and mercy are with his chosen, and that he visits his holy ones. But a righteous man who is dead will condemn the ungodly who are living, and youth that is quickly perfected will condemn the many years of an unrighteous man's old age. For the ungodly will see a wise man's end, and won't understand what the Lord planned for him, and why he safely kept him. They will see, and they will despise, but the Lord will laugh them to scorn. After this, they will be a dishonored carcass, and a reproach among the dead forever, because he will dash them with speechless to the ground, and will shake them from the foundations. They will lie utterly waste. They will be in anguish, and their memory will perish. They will come with coward fear when their sins are counted. Their lawless deeds will convict them to their face. Then the righteous man will stand in great boldness before the face of those who afflicted him, and those who made his labors of no account. When they see him, they will be troubled with terrible fear, and will be amazed at the marvel of salvation. They will speak among themselves, repenting, and for distress of spirit they will groan. This was he whom we used to hold in derision, as a parable of reproach. We fools considered his life madness, and his end without honor. How was he counted among sons of God? How is his lot among saints? Truly, we went astray from the way of truth. The light of righteousness didn't shine for us. The sun didn't rise for us. We took our fill of the paths of lawlessness and destruction. We traveled through trackless deserts, but we didn't know the Lord's way. What did our arrogance profit us? What good have riches and boasting brought us? Those things all passed away as a shadow, like a message that runs by, like a ship passing through the billowy water, which, when it has gone by, there is no trace to be found, no pathway of its keel in the billows. Or is it like when a bird flies through the air, no evidence of its passage is found, but the light wind lashed with the stroke of its pinions, and torn apart with the violent rush of moving wings, is passed through. Afterwards, no sign of its coming remains. Or is it like when an arrow is shot at a mark? The parted air closes up again immediately, so that men don't know where it passed through. So we also, as soon as we were born, ceased to be, and we had no sign of virtue to show, but we were utterly consumed in our wickedness, because the hope of the ungodly man is like chaff carried by the wind, and as foam vanishing before a tempest, and is scattered like smoke by the wind, and passes by as the remembrance of a guest that waits but a day. But the righteous live forever. Their reward is in the Lord, and the care for them with the Most High. Therefore they will receive the crown of royal dignity and the diadem of beauty from the Lord's hand, because he will cover them with his right hand, and he will shield them with his arm. He will take his jealousy as complete armor, and will make the whole creation his weapons to punish his enemies. He will put on righteousness as a breastplate, and will wear impartial judgment as a helmet. He will take holiness as an invincible shield. He will sharpen stern wrath for a sword. The world will go with him to fight against his frenzied foes. Shafts of lightning will fly with true aim. They will leap to the mark from the clouds, as well as a well-drawn bow. Hailstones full of wrath will be hurled from an engine of war. The waters of the sea will be angered against them. Rivers will sternly overwhelm them. A mighty blast will encounter them. It will winnow them away like a tempest. So lawlessness will make all the land desolate. Their evil doing will overturn the thrones of princes.